Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. Today I got a question for you, and then we're going to open up this box right here. Unboxing video. Question: is it ever a good idea to obtain survival gear that you do not know how to use? Because you see, I think the knee-jerk response would probably be, oh no, Pastor Joe, that would not be a good idea to buy gear that you don't know how to use. But I submit to you the correct answer might be, yeah, in some instances it's okay to buy gear that you don't yet know how to use, right? Example, what if you came across, were able to obtain, buy, whatever, a Connex, an 8x8 by 20 foot steel container full of trauma surgical supplies. And you're not a trauma surgeon, most of you aren't, you're not a trauma nurse, Would that be cool? I think it would be, because after an event, your group might not have a trauma surgeon, but lo, there could be one with his staff walking down the road, right? Put that in a novel. And you could say, hey, doc, nurses, welcome to your office. Come on in, you take care of us, we'll take care of you, right? Groups. I harp on groups a lot. There are a lot of people out there with a lot more money than me, with a lot more money than most people, who are building their perfect survival retreats because they're not stupid. They're smart. They didn't make their money being dumb, right? And they can read the tea leaves. They can see what's on the horizon. And they're like, hey, man, I need to get myself set up, me and my family. And so, when you're a billionaire, multimillionaire, you can buy a nice place on a nice piece of land and hook up, a real solar system, water, security systems, food, all the works, right? And there's a lot of articles about that now. It's kind of trendy to write about. Do you think these guys are buying stuff they don't know how to use? I think they are. One, because I think they probably just read through lists and say, yep, I need one of those, 3 of those, 4 of those, and all of that, right? But I think what many of them are not thinking about is the importance of having a group, right? You can't just go hide in your concrete, underground, above-ground fortress survival retreat home and think that everything's going to pass over you. You're going to need people. And I'll give you an example, just a local, not local, but a recent example. I was watching a video from a YouTube user named Wes S. And he lives somewhere out in the boonies. And he told a story about going into town, because he lives outside of a town like we do. And he went into town the other day, and there was a motorcycle gang. They weren't flying colors or anything, but it was a bunch of guys on bikes. And they came into this town, and they just started, hassling people and pushing people around and breaking windows and stuff. And, some people got in trouble, and they got away, right? Long story. If you're interested, Wes S., you can go check him out. And I've said for a long time that I think one of the most dangerous threats to those of you who live in rural areas, when the balloon goes up, when the ball drops, when the hammer falls, whatever phrase you want to use, is an organized criminal motorcycle group, right? Club, gang, a brotherhood, whatever. They're already prone to violence, they're organized, they're mobile, and, they've got a hierarchy and an organization. They can get things done. And so to protect yourself against something like that, you're going to need people and a plan. It doesn't do a lot of good to have a lot of people if those people cannot act in concert, right? Act together. And I submit, and I've said this before, and some of you all disagree with me, and that's okay. In the end, everybody's going to be in a group. Who lives? One way or another. There will be extremely few, and not you, lone wolves out there. You're going to be in a group to survive. And my idea is that it's better to form your group now so you have some say in who's in the group. All right. With that as way as prelude, let us open this big box. Now, remember when I said, is it ever a good idea to get gear that you don't necessarily know how to use yet? There is some gear in here that I do not necessarily know how to use yet. I did a video, I think it was the last video I did, and I showed a communications class that we held here on Shofar Mountain for some of the newer people, to kind of get them up to speed on our radio systems and just basic radio procedure. We use radios here at Shofar Mountain, and we are spread out over, I don't know, about a mile, I guess, between residences, and we have some significant terrain features between us, you know, hill, mountain, house, mountain, house, right? And sometimes the radios don't go real good between there, and so we have to relay around the mountain to people and things like that. Well, I contacted my friends at campingsurvival.com and talked to them, and what we decided to get was a repeater kit. And what a repeater does let me back up. Let me tell you this. You know, I spent 20 years in the military, 17 years in Special Forces, and we had some high-speed radios, and we used them a lot. But guess what? I always had high-speed radio guys. You know, at my lowest level when I was in Special Forces, I had two highly skilled radio operators, NCOs, sergeants, who could probably build a radio out of coconuts and Coke cans, right? And so they would run the radios, and I had a general understanding of it, and I could put them together, you know, and make them work, but man, nothing like these guys, right? And so they would give me a handset, and I'd push to talk, right? And then as I progressed up through the ranks, I ended up having, like, you know, a section of really smart radio guys. So I don't know the details of radios, but I know people who do, right? And some of you were mad at that video that I showed because you couldn't hear what was going on and it was kind of jumbled. The whole purpose of that communications class video was just to show you what a group can do together. It was just to show you a group together learning a new skill, radios, technical skill, kind of like that. It wasn't really to teach you. It was too long of a class anyway. It's too technical. And so we've got homesteads with a mountain in the middle, and we can't talk. What we want to do in very layman terms, those of you who are hams and radio guys, you know all about this, but most of y'all aren't, like me. We want to put a repeater on the top of the hill so that this radio talks to the repeater, and then the repeater sends that out to other radios so we can all hear. And campingsurvival.com has a line of products, Oralgun Silent, and we ordered the repeater pack. And this will allow us to talk to other people up to 50 miles away. And we do have some Shofarians who live about, 20 miles away. And so that would be a really cool thing for us. And so this is just going to be the unboxing video, and I'm telling you right up front, I don't know what I don't know. We have a chief of Commo, and he's going to work with me on this, and we'll have a couple more videos on us setting this up and actually using it and things like that. But this is just the unboxing video. So campingsurvival.com, Oralgun Silent, the repeater pack, right? And our purpose is we want to be able to push our radios further. So let's open this bad boy up. Those of you who think you've got all your bases covered, how is your Commo covered? How are you going to talk to people? Maybe even people that you don't know you have yet, but people you're going to bring into your group later, your security forces and things like that. Let's see what we got. All right. Oh, this looks cool. Can you see that? Man, this is heavy. Oh, all right. Oh, this is pretty cool. Here, let me get you down a little bit so you can see. So it all comes ready to deploy in a rucksack with good zippers. It's important to have good zippers on a rucksack. Do you know that when they make cheap rucksacks, they skimp on the zippers because it's an easy thing to skimp on? And I can tell these are good zippers. They're big and they're tight. It's your standard 3-day patrol pack looking deal. Handle. And on it, can you see this? Let me check, make sure. This should be in the light. Come in the light. There. On it, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 radios hanging on the outside. Now, let's see here. Cool. So these are Baofangs. We are very familiar with Baofangs here on Shofar Mountain. This one is the Uniform Victor 5 Romeo Alpha radio. These things are programmable. You can put any kind of frequencies in them you want. This kit comes with the radios already programmed on a frequency. Beyond that, I'm starting to get above my technical level. And they have them charged. How cool is that? They come charged. You can put, because we do external mics on these, you can put the throat mics and the earbuds on these. It'll plug in right here. You can also use it just like a handy talkie like this. You can put other antennas on your walkie-talkies. The one I typically carry has a longer whip antenna on it because I have to talk to people further away. So these are good little radios right here. I believe these radios work on the ham band, which today, according to the way things are, if you want to operate, if you want to talk on the ham band, you need a ham license, which is easy to get. I can talk about that later. But you can also program these to work on FRS band, GMRS, and things like that. Let me see something here.
Channel mode.
I've got to unlock it.
Unlock.
Okay. These have different power settings. And again, we'll talk more about this later. But this is the radio. Cool little radio. Very versatile radio. There's 4 of them. And they come with these little pouches right here. You could take this off of here, condor clips. You can take it off of the backpack and hand them to people, right? So this is the kind of backpack, you could put this thing in a homemade Faraday cage and have it ready to go, in the event things happen. Hand a radio to everybody and push your security out. Go put a guy on the hill overlooking the road in from town to report on what's going on, going in a convoy, whatever. It's a ready-to-go kit here. So let's see what else we have in here. And it's from Oralgun Silent via campingsurvival.com. All right. Nope. All right. This right here, these are pretty cool. We use these in felling trees around here too. This is a throw weight. It has like lead shot in it. It's not your ninja, whatever they call that chain, weighted chain thing. It's a whole bunch of 550 cord with this, and you swing it around and you get it up over a tree limb, and then you attach this to your antenna and you pull your antenna up high in the tree, tower, structure, whatever, because the higher you get your antenna up, the easier it is to communicate, right? That makes sense, right? Even non-technical guys like me understand that. And so this is good. 12-ounce Weaver. It feels like quality. It's 550 cord. Oh, these are important. This right here is a USB, and it plugs into your radio. It's a programming cable. If you saw our video the other day where we had our class, and again, I was just trying to show you snippets of what we were doing, but at one section of that video, our Commo chief had radios plugged into a notebook, and this will allow you to program all the radios really fast, like 30 seconds. You plug it in, and he downloaded, I don't know, 100 frequencies, different channels into our radios, and this allows you to do that. It's a lot easier to do it this way when you want to program 4 radios as opposed to going through the beep, 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 which you also can do. This just makes it faster. And so you could preset your radios on a whole bunch of different channels, and then just decide to change channels for security reasons, which is another class, but whatever. Here you go. Oh, and also these radios, these will pick up like police and fire bands and FM, listen to the tunes. my friend over at Step One Survival, SOS, he's always got a radio playing some kind of rock and roll. He does it for like the perfect amount of time and turns it off so he doesn't get busted on it. So here you go. All right, what else we got? This is your antenna setup right here, coax cable, braided, dual band Slim Jim VHF UHF. I think what this does is it'll bring in a signal on VHF and send it out on UHF. I'm not sure though. Like I said, I will be finding out more about this as we set it up, and that's why we have a Commo chief. You got a Commo chief? All right. All right, this is a notebook, a instruction manual, if you will, and it tells you how to set it up, how to program your radios, what all the buttons are, what is a repeater, crossband repeater, and then it has a quick deploy card. So once you read this, you can use this as your little training aid to get your things set up. You know, put your antenna up in the tree, hook it up this way, do these things. Again, I'm going to have to read this, and actually, the way my brain works, I'm going to have our Commo chief go over this with me, and we'll get this thing set up, and I will bring you there to see it. But so far, this is what we've got. All right, we're going to the main pouch. Wow. Yaesu, limited warranty. This is the, for those of you who know these things, the FT8900 Romeo operating manual, quad band FM transceiver book. This is going to be like the base station, right? Wow. This thing will go on a bazillion different channels too. And again, I don't want to hurt it. So let me show you what we got. We have this guy right here. This little radio, we're going to hook this up to the antenna. You have to hook it up to a power source. I got a surprise for you on that because I read the catalog. I know what's coming with this. You can plug this into the wall and make it work, but you don't have to. All right, so we got this. We have a microphone, wires. Look at all these presents. A mount, you could mount it in a vehicle or under a table or something like that. You know, the little bracket. What do we have here? High efficiency storage charger. Yeah, let me show you this later. I'll put this here because this has got to come with something else. Well, I'll show it to you now. It's packed in there tight. This right here is to charge up a battery. See these little clips? And you can hook it up to a solar system. You can plug it into your wall. You can do whatever you want to keep your battery tuned up. But here you go. That's where you plug it in the wall. You can also plug this in your solar system. Solar systems have sockets, right? And so this is to keep your batteries tuned up. What batteries? Ha ha. Let's see here. What do we have here? That was like foreshadowing, right? There's probably a battery coming. It's set on the box. Caution! Batteries inside. All right, what is this? Man, this is like just getting gifts. Yaesu. Some kind of big long cord. Here, I'll show you. And again, I am not claiming to know how to use all this yet, but I know what it'll do. See, this will allow me to talk up to 50 miles with my peeps. And so that's why we have it. And we're going to learn how to use it. This isn't the kind of thing we're going to stick in a box and forget about, and then when that day comes, you know, have to then figure out, oh no, how do we talk to people? Well, that'll be incorporated into our classes and training events. But I've got a whole lot of cable here, 2 different cables. to make this thing work, right? Now, is this expensive? Oh yeah. Buying stuff like this costs money. This is getting into the more advanced preparations for the more advanced, dare I say, the more serious prepper, right? Can everybody get a setup like this? Probably not, honestly, but discriminating people can. People who have already taken care of the basics of food and water and medicine and shelter and fuel and heat and cool, you know, that's basic intermediate stuff. We're starting to get into advanced stuff here. And it's how far do you want to take your preparations? How far do you want to take your group? How efficient, how professional do you want your group to be? And so, you know, these are all decisions that we have to make, but we took the decision here on Shofar Mountain that we want to be able to communicate. Because like I said earlier, communication allows for coordination, and coordinated effort by a group of people is an awesome thing to see. All right. I don't know what this is. Let us open this. There we go. Oh, this is the base station, the docking port, if you will, for these radios. And it comes with the plug to plug it into the wall or your solar system. Comes with a clip and a lanyard. And basically you hook this up and then you just park your radio in there and it charges it, right? And so I guess we got 4 of these, one for each radio. So that's cool. There's 2 in there. There'll be 2 in here, so that's 4. And then, this expert power 12 volts. Because see, this system, yes, you can plug this system into your solar. You could plug this into your wall as long as you still had electricity. But what about when everything goes to pot and you want to go mobile with this kit? You want to grab it, throw it in your truck, throw it in your 4-wheel drive, go out, set up operations. You know, maybe you're in a bug out situation with your group and you're in a convoy. Well, while you're riding in the convoy, you can plug into your 12-volt system. But then what if you have to get out of the vehicles and go, you know, go overland? How are you going to talk? How are you going to set up this repeater? And so they thought of that. And it comes with this battery right here. It's kind of heavy. That's what made the kit heavy. 12 volt, 7 amp hour, 20 hour battery, so you can run your system. Beyond that, I'd sound stupid if I started talking about it because I'm just learning how to do solar and batteries and things like that. But this whole kit, as you saw, and I think that's everything, comes with 4 radios. Actually comes with 5, right? Because you have this base station. The base station, the antenna, instructions, chargers, battery packs, all that stuff. And what this will allow you to do is to, and the radios came charged.
Channel mode.
It allows you to program these to whatever channel you want. And this is from talking to my Commo guy before we ordered this. We can operate on ham. We can operate, you need a license to operate on ham today. You can operate on FRS, GMRS, all different kinds of things. You can monitor police, fire, you know, all kinds of bands. This system will allow you to transmit dual, like go in on one band, go out on another, go in on one channel, go out on another, which is a security thing. If people do pick up your transmission, they'll probably only pick up half of it. You can grab this and go. You can store this in your Faraday cage. You can have this at your high-speed survival retreat ready to go against that day when you need to start handing out radios with cases to people and say, you go over there, pull security, you go down there and talk to Mrs. Johnson, you go over there. You could take one of these and hand it to your neighbor at that time and say, look, keep this thing charged, talk to me every 4 hours on this channel, let me know how you're doing and what's going on. The uses for this are almost limitless, right? And you can talk up to 50 miles, evidently. We're going to find out. You're going to see this. But if you're interested in something like this, check out my friends at campingsurvival.com. It's called the Oralgun Silent Repeater Pack. I like it. I like the ability to go and have Commo wherever I go. And again, that's a group thing. You're going to end up in a group one way or another. Showing up to a group of people that's already established that doesn't have radio gear with this kind of radio gear, that would be a pretty cool thing too, right? All right. Hey, I hope that was useful. Check it out if you're interested, campingsurvival.com. Check us out on Patreon. We try to do more in-depth videos there. And stay tuned. You'll be seeing more on this once I figure out how to use it and all the permutations. You'll probably see us hanging up antennas and doing test shots and things like that. All right. I'll see you out there.